What's up YouTube, this is GalacticGod and welcome to another episode of Yugioh Chat. This is for Sunday, November 29th, 2015. First off, let me say that I hope everyone out there who celebrated Thanksgiving had a terrific holiday, got enough to eat, had plenty of fun, and got everything they wanted for their Black Friday shopping. And that's going to be my little segue to the Yugioh news of the week. And perhaps the biggest news of the week is, of course, all of the Black Friday sales that the different card websites were having. Troll and Toad had some pretty good deals, as they had Odd Eyes tins for about $10 each. New Challenger Super Editions were going for about $4, and the Secrets of Eternity boxes were going for about $28. Now all these prices are way better than what you would expect for any kind of retail of the product. But as I live out here in Southern California, I do have access to a place called Frankenson's. And for those of you guys who do not know, Frankenson's is kind of like this collectible warehouse out in the city of Industry in Southern California where one can go to get a wide variety of different collectibles. And in this case, I'm talking about different Yu-Gi-Oh products, everything from single cards to decks, mats, sleeves, boxes, and cases of any kind of product. And the prices that you normally see on Black Friday for a lot of these websites are the everyday prices that you can get Yu-Gi-Oh product for at Frankenson's, or at least something pretty close to that effect. So for the most part, a lot of the Black Friday sales that I saw on the different websites didn't really impress me too much. One thing that I did think was pretty cool was that of the core TCG Black Friday sales. Now just like Troll and Toad or Ideal 808 or any of the other ones, they had similar price points on a lot of their products. But the thing that I thought was really cool about core was that they had score pads and play mats going for just a penny each. Now you were limited to only getting a quantity of one each per your transactions, but still, a penny plus shipping is pretty darn cheap for these items. So all in all, I do understand that not everyone has access to driving down to Frankenson's and getting these products for that price all the time. So for those of you who can't normally do that, I hope you were able to get a lot of really great Black Friday deals this week. Moving on to some other big news, at least that which kind of relates to my page, I was actually able to hit the 90,000 subscriber mark this week. It is really a milestone that I kind of never really thought I would achieve. If it wasn't for the support of all my subscribers, for you guys continually watching my videos, commenting on them, liking them, sharing them, giving me your feedback, letting me know what kind of content you enjoy that I produce, I don't think I would have ever been able to make it this far. So if you look right now, this is actually the first video that I ever created for YouTube. So for the guys of you who do not know this story, I used to open a ton of different cases of Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically whenever a new product would come out, I would buy a case or two of it, open all the product, and sell a lot of the cards up on eBay. And a lot of my buddies kept telling me, hey, you gotta record yourself opening the cases. There's not a lot of case openings up on YouTube, and people would love to see it. So then when we went to go get the Storm of Ragnarok case, I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna open this case for YouTube. And this was really just kind of how I started my channel. I never really thought I was going to make any more videos past that initial set where I just kind of showcased the opening of the Storm of Ragnarok set. But I really had a great time doing it and got a pretty nice reaction from those who watched my initial videos. And that kind of propelled me to make another and another and another. And before you knew it, I was a Yugituber. And even once that happened, I never really thought I was going to make it to 90,000 subscribers. I guess the ultimate goal at this point would really be to reach that 100K mark. I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to really accomplish that. Hopefully I will, but if not, getting to 90,000 is a milestone in and of itself. One I'm very proud of, and one that I could have never done without the support of all of my subscribers and all of you guys who are watching this video. And I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done. Moving on to the meme of the week. Now last week I asked you guys to submit different memes that you thought were funny over to my channel. And I got one hell of a reaction. So what I decided to do was go ahead and post a few of the ones that I thought were really funny. So here's the first one, and if you look at it, it says, "You used to call me on my cell phone." Which is pretty funny if you think about the name of the image of this card. The next one that I thought was pretty good was this Pot of Greed before and after using Colgate. I don't know what it is, but it really made me chuckle. It looks like this one was created by Yami Merrick Ishtar. And the final meme I want to share with you guys was another one that looks like it was created by Midnight Dreams. So if you haven't checked out his Facebook page, I highly encourage you to do so. He's got a lot of great stuff up on it. And it's kind of a take off of the new Captain America Civil War trailer. with Stratos playing the part of Iron Man and Shadow Mist playing the part of Cap. And if you see the image, it reads,
"Sorry, Tommy. You know I wouldn't do this if I had any other choice. But he's my friend. So was I."
Alright, so it looks like that's going to do it for this week's memes. If you guys have a Yu-Gi-Oh meme you would like me to showcase up here on next week's video, go on over to my Facebook page, which there should be a link to in the description below. And I should have a posting on that page asking you guys to leave your memes there for the next video. So next up, I want to go ahead and get on to some Yu-Gi-Oh Q&A. The first question comes from Brandon Lee, who asks, "Hey GalacticGod, what is the one thing you hate about Yu-Gi-Oh?" Now, as much as I love the Yu-Gi-Oh community, it can also be the thing that I find to have the most fault within our game. And it's not everyone, but there is a select part of the player base who are just extremely condescending, especially towards newer or younger players. I've seen so many instances of this throughout my years of playing this game that it just kind of almost sickens me. Just because someone is not at the same skill level or has the money to invest in whatever deck you are using does not give you a right to be cruel to that person. And if there's one thing that I could change about our community, it would be that. The next question comes from Jay, Silver at 1991, and he asks, "So GalacticGod, what are your thoughts on the ending to the Survivor Series?" And actually, there are quite a few different questions relating to wrestling. I guess a lot of you guys did not know that I was a pretty big WWE fan. I really got into wrestling way back in the day when I was really young. I remember watching guys like Jake the Snake Roberts, Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, Bret the Hitman Hart, the Nasty Boys, the Bushwhackers, $1 Million Man, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. That was really the era where I first started watching it. I still remember the first event I ever went to. It was one that my father took me and my two brothers to. And we actually got to see Macho Man Randy Savage fight Jake the Snake in a steel cage for the main event. It really doesn't get any more epic than that. And I don't know, for some reason after that I was pretty much hooked. But as for your question, I really didn't have too big of a problem for the ending of Survivor Series. The only thing I didn't like about it though is that I thought it mirrored a little too much to what happened to Daniel Bryan a few years back at SummerSlam when he actually beat John Cena for the first time to win the WWE title. Then he had a confrontation with Triple H, and Randy Orton ran down and cashed in Money in the Bank and won the title right away, leaving Daniel Bryan as champion for only a couple minutes. Now, of course, this series of events did work out well, as Daniel Bryan did become very popular within the wrestling community. Will it work out the same way for Roman Reigns? I'm not so sure. But right now, I just want to see how things unfold. Hopefully, this will all lead to a really good WrestleMania. The next question comes from Brandon, who asks, "Do you sell a lot of cards online? What's your eBay name? I would like to buy from you." Actually, I used to sell a ton of cards online through eBay. Unfortunately though, I don't really buy as much product as I once did, so I don't always have a lot of cards that I'm selling up on eBay. Right now there is a few cards up there, so if you're interested, please check out my eBay page. There should be a link to it in the description below, as well as on my main GalacticGod channel page. There'll be the little eBay link in the top right hand corner. Anytime you want to see what I have for sale, just go ahead and check that out. And the final question today comes from End Ruler, who asks, "Hey GalacticGod, have you ever tried to build an Artoria or a Gimmick Puppet deck? I would highly recommend you to build one because they are really cool for casual play." And actually, I don't think I've ever really built either one of those decks. As for Gimmick Puppets, it was a deck that I always really wanted to try, but never got around to picking up every card to actually create the deck. I remember when Leah was still playing Yu-Gi-Oh, she would play Noctoria every once in a while. I also think that building a Noctoria 1 right now might be kind of fun, as Noctoria Beast and Barkion are still pretty powerful cards within the game. Being able to stop spells or traps are always good, plus locking your opponent down with the Bamboo Shoot card is always a good thing as well. So you never know, maybe in the future you might be seeing a deck profile for Noctorias from me. Alright, I guess that's going to about do it for this episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Chat. Remember, if there is a question you would like me to answer, whether it be about Yu-Gi-Oh!, Yugitubing, or myself in general, go ahead and leave it down in the description below, and I will try to answer as many as I can in next week's video. And that's just about all the Yu-Gi-Oh! I have for you this week. This is GalacticGod,